Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to the Reptile Barn. I am doing a little thing that I do pretty much every year around this time and putting several of my male ball pythons together temporarily under my supervision. So here we have a big old tote. And inside here you will see a few males. I've got 3 of them in here right now. A lot of my males are in shed right now, but that's okay because the one I was most interested in doing this with is the tri-stripe right there on the right of your screen. His name is Glorfindel. I've also got Cinna, Super Banana Cinnamon right there, and Onyx, who is the GHI Enchi Yellow Belly in the middle. Now, why am I doing this? Because Glorfindel, the tri-stripe, despite being like 3.5 years old, despite being 1,000 grams, healthy, perfect, despite producing sperm plugs for like the whole last year, he just utterly refuses to lock with females. Okay? So there is a school of thought that male-male competition can dramatically boost their hormones and that their desire to breed will go up. And I have done this every year for many years with a few males at a time in a big old tote. I, of course, watched the whole time, although they've never hurt each other or even tried to hurt each other. The most they do is sometimes if they get real riled up, they'll kind of rear up the first third or half of their body and kind of twist their necks around each other a little bit. But it's just a little bit of like a display, a combat display, not an actual combat where they're trying to do damage. Regardless, I still watch the whole time just in case, you know, if some fluke accident were to happen, I want to be here ready to separate them. But the reason, as I just described, is that I have seemed to observe an increase in breeding interest in my males after doing this. And I picked Onyx because he has been breeding like crazy. He's been on fire. So I like having at least one of the males that I put in here be one that's already kind of amped up and got his breeding hormones going strong. And I'm hoping that a little bit of competition will get Glorfindel going. I've got a lot of girls lined up for him, and he is just not making it happen. Now, there are other tricks that you can try that are not quite as stressful as this one. I would not just recommend anyone just toss your male ball pythons together. However, I've talked to several really professional breeders. I've done my own experimenting with this, and like I said, and will continue to say, I observe the entire time. I do not take my eyes off of them because I don't want any accidents. So, what are some, while we're waiting, just letting them kind of bother each other a bit, what other techniques are there? A lot of people use shed skins. So if another very mature, especially if she's cycling female, has shed, a lot of breeders will take that shed and get it a little wet so that the smell kind of spreads more and puts it in the tub with the male and female they're trying to get to lock. They will also do that if another mature male sheds his skin, who's kind of in the midst of his breeding season. Both of those seem to be helpful, and there's certainly not any risk in doing that, right? It's just a shed skin. Some breeders will pop the male that they're about to pair with the female, and they will actually rub the sperm plugs onto the back of the female that they're hoping to get bred. Others will take a male who's producing a lot of sperm plugs and rub his sperm plugs onto the backs of all the females that are going to get bred that time, that round, so that if any of the males going in are a little more timid, it's that same concept of hopefully they'll smell this other male, He's not present, so they're not really going to stress out, but they can smell him. And sometimes the hope is, at least among breeders, that that can stimulate him to want to breed more. And there's other things you can do as well. You know, a lot of times just waiting until it's either raining or snowing outside, the pressure change. Definitely, I have noticed a huge increase in breeding interest from the ball pythons during a rain or snow event. Spray them right as you're introducing them. That seems to help a little bit. There's a bunch of things, but I am just going to watch for a little while. Only a couple minutes. I usually do like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and that's all. And I separate them again, put them back in their own little homes. I don't want them to stress to the point where it's detrimental. But sometimes a little bit of stress, you know, competition or whatever that may be, is a good thing. You know, sometimes we lump all stresses together, and I find that foolish. Because, you know, if you don't stress your muscles, for example, they can't grow. And I think that we've, as a society, just decided all stress is bad, but that is not the case. A little bit of stress is fine, especially when I'm kind of micromanaging it. I'm not going to let it get out of hand. I'm certainly not going to let them fight or harm each other in any way. Anyway, so that is why I'm doing this, and I can see they're starting to move a little bit more jumpily, which I like. I like them to start getting just slightly agitated. Again, if they started hissing a lot, if they were like S-ing up, like they were going to bite, if one of them just curls into a ball, I would not like that. That's not the signs I want to see. I want them to get agitated and act like they're trying to be the top dog, right? Like they're trying to be taller than each other. That's what I want, right? So anyway, I won't make you sit here for another 3 minutes of me just yammering at you. I just wanted to show this. I think it's an interesting technique. I do not think it's going to hurt them. If I did, of course I would never do it. I would never prioritize trying to get them to breed over their safety or their health. I would never do that. I firmly believe that this is, at the very worst, neutral, and at the very best, can be helpful in getting them into the mood to breed. I have had a few people reach out to me and say, if you have a really dominant male and a really submissive one, and you're trying to help the submissive one like become more interested in breeding, that could be, you could get the opposite effect. He could feel like intimidated by the dominant one. And I totally respect that opinion. I haven't seen it. And at the end of the day, I have to go with my own observations. It has always seemed helpful to me. This is a gentle species. There is no actual male-on-male combat where they're trying to hurt each other, even in the wild, as far as I'm aware. Their breeding technique is extremely gentle. They don't, bite the back of the female like you might see in some species, especially with lizards. They're just gentle animals, and so I'm not stressed doing this as long as I'm willing to watch. Anyway, that is all for now. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, we are the Reptile Barn.